Mr. McClintock.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Foster, does the Dobbs decision ban abortions?
It does not.
Does it limit abortions?
It does not.
Does it say anything about abortions beyond that it simply can't find such a right in the Constitution?
It does not.
If a state chose to legalize unrestricted abortions on demand, is there anything in Dobbs that would prevent it from doing so?
Clearly not. We've seen states doing that.
I think the central question that both sides here are considering is whether Congress has the authority to adopt a federal law concerning abortion, either restricting it, banning it, or allowing it. Is there anything in the Dobbs decision that would prevent Congress from doing so?
No.
More difficult question that I'm struggling with is whether the Congress has the constitutional authority to ban or restrict or allow abortion, or if that is a matter that it leaves to the states through their elected representatives. What's your opinion?
Yeah, we at Americans United for Life take a both-and perspective on that. We are looking for our elected representatives to lead and to take a strong position protecting life. We also expect our judges to follow the Constitution and protect all life in the law.
Congress is given enumerated powers. I don't find abortion one way or another among those enumerated powers. Is that not therefore left to the states to decide?
It's certainly not an enumerated power.
The majority of Americans tell pollsters that they support Roe v. Wade, but at the same time, they also tell those pollsters that abortion should be banned after 15 weeks. Does Roe allow restrictions on abortions after 15 weeks?
The current regime in our country, or prior to Dobbs, was that in fact it was almost unrestricted abortion on demand.
So Roe would prevent restrictions on abortions after 15 weeks?
It had, yes.
Yeah, okay. How about Dobbs? Does the Dobbs decision allow such restrictions?
The Dobbs decision says that you can, in fact, protect women and children after 15 weeks or before 15 weeks.
Which is what a substantial majority of Americans, even though they say they oppose Roe, actually support.
Supermajority, yeah. Yes.
I think laws have to be based on a broad consensus. Otherwise, they're ignored or they have to become oppressive. And I do think there's a clear consensus that if somebody's lying unconscious in a hospital bed and they have a heartbeat and a brainwave, they're a human being. You're not allowed to kill them. Wouldn't that same principle apply to the beginning of life, just logically?
You would think so, but some of your colleagues seem to disagree.
Isn't also that's what the Mississippi law says?
Yes.
As I understand it, the concept of substantive due process rests with the 5th and 14th Amendments' right to not be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Now, in my layman's eye, that seems pretty clear. You cannot be executed or jailed or fined without your day in court. Substantive due process imagines a whole range of other rights that are not enshrined explicitly in constitutional or statutory law, but rather are established by judicial decree. Do I understand that correctly?
You do, yes.
Now, I happen to believe there's a class of rights that exist in nature. These are rights that are not created by government. Rather, we create governments to protect these pre-existing rights. But to do so, we still have to define them. We do that through our Constitution and through our legislatures. Now, we just heard from one of the Democrats' witnesses that defining such rights should not be left to the elected representatives of the people. So what's the alternative? Isn't it having unelected judges define these rights instead? Somebody has to define them. Do I have that right?
Apparently so, yeah.
So which do you think is a safer repository of these rights, the people or appointed judges?
I believe it's the people. It's the people who have the rights and the people we elect our representatives to defend them.
And shouldn't respect for democracy leave these issues to the people through their elected representatives? Isn't that what Justice Thomas is saying in his dissent?
That's exactly what he's saying.
The left tells us that any restriction on abortion forces a woman to carry a baby against their will. How do you respond to this?
I believe, as I said a moment ago, that most women would choose to carry if we could improve their circumstances. That is exactly what this body should be doing.
Thank you very much.